Hey guys, today I'm going to do an upper body strength session. So I've already done a lower body strength session, I've done a core session, and today's session is going to be purely for the upper body. Obviously it's a little bit more difficult because upper body, more often than not, it's easy to do if you have got weights. I'm going to make this a weight-free exercise. However, if you've got weights at home, feel free to use them where you can. The only bits of equipment that I'm going to use today are band. So you can either have a band like this, which most people do have, or if you've either had a rehab band, which is this one. Most of you have got some sort of bands, swing cords, even if you have an old race belt that you can use. You just need something that's a little bit, you can have a little bit of resistance for some of these exercises that we're going to do today. Okay, so the first exercise we're going to do are tricep dips. Really important with tricep dips, if you have never done them before, to start easy and then progress throughout. Obviously there's an easy way to do tricep dips, and then you can obviously make it a lot harder for yourself. So what we'll do first of all is triceps on the floor. So what I'm going to do, obviously hands flat back. Okay, we're going to do legs bent to start with because that is the easiest way to do them. Your arms are about shoulder width apart, and your elbows are going to bend towards the back. So try not to have elbows out, keep the elbows in, and it's just a small movement. Obviously this is quite a beginner's movement to do tricep dips. So I'll turn around so you can see me properly. Obviously knees are bent, elbows go straight back, and it's just touch and up, touch and up, touch and up. If you want to make it a little bit more difficult on the ground, you can have, hello Mackie, you can have straight legs. That makes it a little bit more difficult. Okay. And again, third progression is if you have got a bench or a chair. I just happen to have a bench here. If you've got that, then you can obviously do it off the bench. Again, you can start with bent knees, same thing. Concentrating on isolating those triceps, and of course to advance that movement once more, straight legs, and that's even for me difficult. So up. Okay, so that was exercise number one. Okay, second exercise, the good old push-up, but we're going to do a variety of different ways of doing the push-up. So obviously standard push-up for beginners. So if you haven't done push-ups before, you don't do them very often. Again, really important to get the technique correct to start with. So obviously hands shoulder width apart, but what you need to make sure you do is that your shoulders are over your hands. A lot of time people start and they'll do their push-up like this, so they're actually back. I need your shoulders over your hands. Now we'll start on the knees because obviously that's the easiest way to do it, and it's straight down and up. Straight down and up, down and up. So that's a beginner movement. What we'll do is up on our feet, so nice flat back, squeeze your glutes. Again, same movement, down and up, down and up. Try and get your chin just before the floor and up. Okay, so that's your stock standard push-up. But what we're going to do a couple of different varieties now because obviously we've all done push-ups before. So what I want you to do is I want you to do a push-up but staggered arms. So you know how I told you then we're going to do shoulder width apart? What I want you to do now is start with shoulder width apart, but then I want you to take one hand and put it just out in front. So staggered. Same movement again. Down and up. Down and up, down and up. Move your hand back, next hand comes out, and it's not a big movement, you're not too far apart, but it's just so your hands are staggered. Again, arms are shoulder width apart, down and up. And the good thing about this is if it gets too difficult or you feel that your form's starting to go, don't be scared to drop back down on the knees. There's no shame in that, okay? You're better off staying on top of the rep and keeping good form rather than going through and having really poor form. So don't be scared to drop down to your knees if you can feel your form starting to slip. All right, Next one. So we've gone through normal push-ups, staggered push-ups. What I want you to do this time is we're going to do a push-up with a rotation. So again, back to your stock standard push-up, arms are shoulder width apart. You're going to do a push-up, and as you come up, I want you to rotate. Down, push up, and rotate. Push up, and rotate. Push up, rotate. One more, and rotate. Okay, next exercise is to strengthen the scapula. So it's like a scapular retraction exercise. It's only quite a small movement, but it's a lot harder than what it looks. So I suggest starting with no weights whatsoever, and then once you get the hang of it, then we can introduce some weights. I like to use, because I don't have weights here at home, obviously. If I was at the gym, then I would use probably 3 or 4 kilo dumbbells. At home, I just fill 2 water bottles with water, and they're good enough. So I'm going to start without weights to start with. So you're going to be lying on your stomach. Squeeze your glutes, switch your core on, feet are just off the ground. You're going to start with your hands out in front of you. Try and keep your head in a neutral position. Don't have it looking up. We don't want to put strain on the neck and shoulders, all right? So keep your head in a neutral position, and you're going to bring your arms back and squeeze that scapula. Hold it for a few seconds, and then back out. And squeeze, and out. And squeeze, and out. And again, once you've got that movement down pat, your 2 bottles, same thing. Squeeze, back out in front. Squeeze, hold it for a couple of seconds. Out in front. Squeeze, out in front. And you'll find that if you do that for 40 seconds straight, it's going to hurt. Next exercise, while I've got you lying on your stomachs, we're just going to do a really simple exercise. I like to do this in front of the television all the time, and it's just a lower back glute activation exercise. Again, really small movement, but it's really, really good. So again, while you're lying down on your stomach, keeping your head in a neutral position, 3 different movements. So you're going to raise your arms, you're going to raise your legs, and you're going to raise all 4 together. So arms, legs, and both together. Arms, legs, and both together. Arms, legs, and both together. Okay. Okay, next exercise, I need you to find that band. So as I said, if you've got one of these bands or just one of these bands we've all had for when we've done physio exercises, or if you've got an old race belt, anything with a bit of resistance. We're going to do another sub-scat exercise, this time standing up. I'll do it with this band first of all. As I said, it doesn't need to be a huge amount of resistance because it's quite a small movement. Again, start with your arms just out in front, a little wider than shoulder width. So that's shoulder width, a little wider than shoulder width. And what you're going to do is you're going to pull your scapula back and down. All right, so I don't want this. So make sure before you start the exercise that your shoulders are nice and relaxed. You don't want your shoulders up near your ears. So nice and relaxed. Make sure you've got good posture. Make sure you've got the glutes and the core turned on. Before you do any exercise, you've got to have those glutes and core turned on. All right, and all it is squeeze. Squeeze. So the rubber, the band should be coming just at chest height. And make sure you keep the tension the whole way. So don't come all the way in. You want to keep tension on that band the whole way, just to straight. So if I turn around, and you can see, again, shoulders down, and squeeze. And you're squeezing the scapula back and down. Again, a really small movement, but very beneficial. Okay, if you don't want to use that, if you don't have a band, as I said, any sort of band that has a little bit of resistance. Again, this is not nowhere near as tight as this one, but I can still get really good workout. And I can tell you now, 40 seconds of this, and your upper back will be burning. Okay. All right, next one is just simple bicep curl. Obviously, if I was at the gym and I had an array of weights to use, then I would do a bicep curl with some dumbbells. I don't have them. So again, that's why this is so great. I can take it with me anywhere I go. I often take it with me overseas. Step into it. Just about shoulder width apart. Again, make sure you've got nice posture. And elbows in by the side. And just simple bicep curls. Keep it nice and controlled, and really important not just let it go. You pull it up, you control the movement back down. Pull it up, control the movement back down. And try not to have any sort of lag between. So don't hold it down there for too long, don't hold it up here for too long. Make sure it's a consistent and controlled movement. And what I love about this is you can then also extend. So that was just the bicep curl. You can also extend it from bicep curl to an overhead press. So bicep curl, overhead press. Bicep curl, overhead press. Bicep curl, overhead press. All right? And the last exercise today, again, it's going to involve using the band. And what we're just going to do is just a simple overhead press. So the last exercise, of course, was a bicep curl with the overhead press. This time, obviously hands are this way. I want you to turn hands the other way, holding on. And you're going to flick it up to here. And I want you to keep the knees soft, but I don't want you moving them, okay? So I want it to be a purely overhead press. So from this position at shoulders, pressing up and down, up and down. And down. If at about 30 seconds it starts to get a little difficult and you are starting to feel that your technique is going, you can also always add a little pop. So I like to call it a little pop. Often it's just for the last few reps just to get them in. You can bend your knees and just give a little pop just to get it up. But try and do as many as you can without incorporating the lower body. You just want it to be an overhead press. But if things start to get a little difficult, you can add that little bend of the knees. Okay, and that's our upper body strength session. So today's upper body session, there were 8 separate exercises. I will write those down, so they will be up there for you to see. The idea is to do 3 rounds, so 1 on each, 3 times through, and the timing for each exercise is 35 seconds on, 20 seconds off. All right, so 35 seconds on, 20 seconds recovery. Go through the 8 exercises 3 times through.